Hey there, my name is Shane Craddock, and this is the Inner Edge podcast, where I share a different take on how to lead and live a sustainable, high-performance life. Over the course of different episodes, I'm going to challenge the belief that tension, stress, and struggle are essential to success and creativity. My experience is that there's an easier way, there's a better way, and indeed there's an essential way that we need to explore for the times that we live in. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and explore. Hey there, I was chatting with a client recently, and something came up that's quite common, increasingly common actually, and it's to do with the area of vision. In recent years, the concept of having a vision is going to gain traction, and it's kind of moved maybe out of the business world where it would be very popular and have various different meanings, but it's moved into the personal kind of growth, achievement, fulfillment space. But I think in some cases, or in many cases, it causes a problem. And that's what I want to explore a little bit today. Because as I was sitting with my client and we were talking about different things, and what I observed was that their mood was low. They were feeling down, they were frustrated. They were what I would call stuck. They were clearly stuck. And there was no clarity in their mind. And yeah, they were just frustrated. And it was rippling into everything, their work, their relationships, how they saw the world. But they hadn't fully copped, or they hadn't fully seen why. So that's part of my job, is to try and help somebody to kind of untangle their mind, the web that can sometimes be created by ourselves and our thinking, and then kind of come out of that and use thought more constructively. So I suppose to kind of lead us into this, what I'm going to say is that when you have no vision, the most important thing is not to make an issue of it. Now, as I said a few moments ago, in the mainstream kind of area around this, people talk about having their vision board and knowing your why and having a vision. And there's no doubt about it that maybe that's a topic for a different podcast episode, but that does make a difference. I've used it myself. I've seen it make a difference. But there are some big watch outs with it. Because a lot of the time, we never really ask, where's that vision coming from? Or is it doing any good, apart from for you? Now, it's definitely helpful to know what you're about and what you stand for. I think that's more important than perhaps having a vision, like to know who you are, like what you value, what your values are, what you stand for, what's important to you. Now, I'm not religious. You probably could say I am interested in. I still take an interest in some of the religions. I've studied like different types of religion, like Buddhism and Hinduism and Sanskrit, as well as Christianity, just out of curiosity. But I'm not religious. But I would read some of those texts occasionally. And with the Bible in question, in my mind, there's one statement that's relevant here, which is, I can't remember exactly where in the Bible where it is now. But it's basically, without vision, the people perish. So, important book. It's kind of saying, yeah, vision is important. And it is. But here's how I look at it now from my own experience. I see it a little bit like sailing. Like some days, if you're out on a boat, some days are clear. You can see for miles. Blue sky, sunny day, right, let's go. It's very clear. But some days, the weather will change and you might have fog, or you could even have a storm. Maybe visibility is very, very poor, and it might slow you down. It might even stop you. But the most important thing, if that's the case when you're sailing, is you just deal with what's in front of you in reality. You don't make a thing of it, because you know that fog or that storm or those clouds, they will pass. It might take a little bit of time, but they will pass, and eventually you will have clarity. Clarity will emerge. And I think for me, the same thing applies to my own journey. That's what I've experienced, where, at times I have real clarity and at times I don't. And what I've learned is if I don't make a thing out of the fog, the mental fog, it tends to kind of move quicker. It doesn't get stuck. It's when I kind of start to worry about it, or think, oh, hang on now, where's my clarity gone? How come he's got clarity, or she has a vision, but I don't? I should have one. So now your mind's gone off and thought is starting to get tangled. That's a way that thought is doing us damage. I remember talking with a client who asked me, hey, Shane, what's your vision for the next few years? And at that time, I was doing a very deliberate experiment where I kind of had no vision at all. And I tried to explain to him, look, I don't have a vision right now and I'm okay with that. He just couldn't get it. He said, I don't get it because you're the guy who helps people create a vision. How can you not have one? And I just had to explain, look, I'm experimenting with an approach where I'm trying to, I suppose, tap into a different part of myself that brings a more intuitive type of vision, which brings me to a kind of an important distinction just to throw at you, which is, I think there are two main types of vision. One is it's ego inspired. It's coming directly from my mind, my ego, what I think success is. And I've done that. I've helped people probably to create those types of visions. But what I'm more interested in is an intuition inspired vision. It's a vision that's coming from a deeper place inside me. And generally that's more holistic. It's better for my life, my health, my relationships, my community. Generally that kind of a vision, everybody wins. Whereas what I've seen myself is that with an ego inspired vision, it's mostly about me, what I'm going to get, what I'm going to have. And as I was sitting with my client, who I mentioned at the start, we were sitting having a chat. He said, I just now have a vision. I said, look, I said, here's a suggestion. Forget about the vision. I was talking through what I'm talking through here with you. Stop making a thing of it. But I said, you do have a little bit of a vision that you can hold on to. He said, no, I don't. I said, no, you do. You can see you want to be better. He said, oh, okay, well, that's true. He said, so let's just look at that. How do you want to feel? How do you want your state to be? How do you want your health to be? I mean, that should be the core of anybody's vision anyway. You want to be more connected. You want to be more centered. You want to have more harmonious relationships. Just start to build from the center out. As opposed to what I think most people do is they build from the outside in. So what can I get? Money, fame, achievements, awards. What can I be doing? I want to do this. And that's all fine. But very often success can be hollow if you have an outside-in approach. If it's inside out, I think what I've seen is very powerful is to start with you at the center. How do you want to feel? Can you see that? How do you want to be, moving about your day, interacting with people? Forget about the outcomes. Forget about the results. Use the vision process that's kind of built into us to help bring out the better version of you, as opposed to, using the lack of a vision to beat yourself up. But as I said this to my client, he went, actually that resonates because I can immediately see the picture of myself, the better version of me. I said, okay, well, let's just start with that. And that to me is when the fog comes in, okay, let's just start with what we can see right in front of us. What can we do? Hold on to that. And I think no matter what's going on, you can always hold on to a version of that. And that kind of vision capacity within yourself is very, very useful, very powerful. So what about you? Maybe you have a vision. Maybe you don't. If you do have a vision, can you be ballsy enough to step back and look at it and see, well, is this all about me? Or do others benefit in it? In my experience, the more others benefit, the more powerful and magnetic in a way your vision is, the more opportunity you have for going into flow, and definitely more synchronistic type events seem to happen. We can talk about that in a different episode, but there's something extra comes in. And, if you have a vision, maybe you can just look to, well, how do I make this more holistic so that more people win? And I think that is a great question to consider. And then on the opposite side, if you're listening to this and think, well, I don't have a vision, or, and then maybe you could just step back and have a look at your mind and see if it's made a problem out of it. For a lot of people, they have. Could you just let that go? Don't sweat it. Be okay with having no vision. I go through phases myself of clear vision, no vision. But as I said, the one vision that's kind of I can have there all the time is the better version of me, the evolving better version of me. So no vision, don't sweat it, be okay with it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a trick or technique here. But just before I do that, before I let you go with this trick, you might just consider liking or subscribing to the podcast channel here, wherever you're listening to it, because it does make a difference with the reach. And I'm really keen to try and reach more people with some of this content, because from my perspective, too many people are stressed and struggling. And I'm hoping that if you're listening to this and you like it, that you might consider just hitting like or subscriber. You're probably sharing with people around you, and I'm grateful for that. So This is a simple way for me to try and reach more people, to try and make an impact. It seems to be working because the podcast is doing better than I would have thought. So, and thank you for listening in. Anyway, the little trick or hack, it's very simple. When you have no vision, this is what I do myself. If there's a kind of that lack of clarity, I'm fine with it. But B, I just double down and focus on REA, what I call REA, which is rest, enjoyment, and appreciation. So what do I mean by that? When you have no vision, just take the REA approach. Focus more on rest for yourself, enjoying what you already have in your life, no matter what your mind is saying about what you don't have, and then appreciating that as well, and the people around you, the people closest to you. It's too easy when we get annoyed at ourselves or a little bit hard on ourselves that we start losing that appreciation for the gift and the many gifts of what we have in life, in our lives. So when you have no vision, maybe take the REA approach. That's it for this week. Ciao for now.